Does Bruce Wayne ever like to have a fishy swirl and her dating friend from Russia would like to have a waffle? Or would just Harvey Dent would like to have a fishy swirl and then Rachel Dawes would have more than just a waffle? And because, I don't know, it's a fanciful restaurant to enjoy in a nice course hot meal with the bat suit and without the bat suit because it looks awesome and I don't know what I'm saying because it doesn't make sense. So anyways, but we are going to go punch crime in the face. This is Arkham Twin Days. Hi there, viewers. I am Leo Wolverine, your game commentator and founding member of Leo's Let's Plays Alliance. As we're going to continue my story topic of the movie story of the Dark Knight trilogy movies of the second movie, The Dark Knight, directed by Christopher Nolan. Okay, so they're having this they're having this specialized moment. Of course, the music of Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard still keep on going, and it is just still fantastic as ever. The movie was bigger and better than ever. So with the music, of course, I mean, like I said, the movie was just like, it was pretty average. But with the music with the movie that was average, it's more than just average, you know. It is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, yeah. So, they're discussing about that the Bat clearly has issues. Of course, the Batman never has issues. Of course, anyways, so the Batman was, of course, you know, so Bruce Wayne talking about something over dinner about the Batman. Of course, they're explaining about what is going on, about how did Caesar was trying to defend his empire, who was the Emperor of Rome. It says, okay, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself to become the villain. And yeah, and this Russian lady who's going out a date with Bruce, I don't know her name because I'm sorry. Sorry, air went down the wrong tube. So, anyways, so yeah. She says, what if Harvey Dent is actually the Batman? And, you know, what is... And Harvey Dent would say, if I was the Batman, I would have been found, a girl of mine would have found out about me that I would have gone out on nights like this by sneaking out at night. So, that could have worked, of course, except Bruce Wayne does have a girlfriend, but doesn't tell. He says, I'm Batman. Okay? So he doesn't yell out and says, Harvey, I'm Batman! Like Batman Forever, you know, for Val Kilmer, who's Bruce plays as Bruce Wayne by saying, yelling out, saying, Harvey, I'm Batman, during a circus performance. And this is not the circus! So... And, okay, cut the chatter, let's go, we're moving on. Whoa, nice jump. So... No, but I'll do it anyways. Way. Okay, yay! I blew it. So, anyway, we're gonna talk about something else. So, either way, that Bruce Wayne is having this interesting conversation about what's going on with the Batman. Either he's a vigilante and a hero, so he's like kind of like the Spider-Man of DC Comics. See what I did there with Marvel and DC, even though I'm not trying to commit a sin, even say you're committing a sin by talking about some things like superheroes from Marvel with DC combined and then butting heads together. Like, oh, come on. You see DC and Marvel going like this, like, hey, we're brothers, but we are rivals. Of course you are. So... yeah, get with the program. So, alright. So anyways, Bruce Wayne having this interesting conversation, of course. And these henchmen, of course, there's Mr. Lau, said something about keeping the money secure and safe and all that, and otherwise away from Dent's jurisdiction, because he's going to go to Hong Kong without being captured by Harvey Dent, where Mr. Lau's headquarters and business of his empire is located in Hong Kong and China, because this is a DC universe made by Christopher Nolan. And it absolutely works, and he's not afraid to do it. And so, since they're in the DC universe and all that and whatsoever, and I'm not saying blah 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 blah, and the money is secure and safe away from jurisdiction, guess who comes in? It's ha ha ho he ha ho he ha. Boy, and I thought my jokes were bad. and one of the guys says, what's it gonna? What it'll take me for? What do you think? What's it gonna take for me that one of my men would put you down like your head first? He says, how about a magic trick? And he puts down this pencil on the table really hard, and he says, I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. And then I don't remember this guy's name, but then he walks up towards the Joker, and the Joker grabs him on the head or on the neck and drops him on the table and stabs him with a pencil like to death in his eye, and then he says, boom! Ta-da! It's yeah, that was dark. I mean, the movie of The Dark Knight is really dark, but it's as a dark performance, of course, and you can possibly understand why did the Joker always likes to joke around, but sometimes he plays fair, sometimes he doesn't play fair. The Joker is unpredictable. What do you expect? He's the Joker, for crying out loud. So don't expect him to know what he comes up planned for next. Because why? He's always had multiple choice. And so for that matter, and guess what he's about to say? So he said, let's wind the clocks back a year. And these cops couldn't do a thing to touch you. Sorry! Words slipped off the tongue. So, yes. And, guess what else he's going to try to do next? Yeah. If I didn't know better, he says, I know why you guys are afraid to go out in the series of Broad Daylight and the Batman. And he says, something about all this and that, and you know, and the Joker knows something very smart that what Mr. Lau doesn't know. Joker actually knows about squealers, and the Joker knows that Mr. Lau, who's going away from Harvey Dent's jurisdiction, actually will squeal because Batman has no jurisdiction, because he is going to find him in China no matter what. But why? Because he's Batman. Yeah, you guys walked into that one, didn't you? I knew it! I was right that you guys walked into that one, because Batman has no jurisdiction. Harvey Dent has jurisdiction. But Batman has no jurisdiction to stop criminal thugs. And why? Because he believes in justice, but not the law. So, yay! That's what makes Batman a hero and a vigilante at the same time. So yes, he is the Dark Knight Spider-Man, only he's broody Batman, okay? But he's not friendly Spider-Man. He's the more brutal Bat and other stuff that I can think of that goes straight off to my head. Okay, so anyways, so the Joker says something about Mr. Lau that he's going to be a squealer. I know the squealers, and Batman has no jurisdiction, and that he's going to find him. And this Italian man says, and what do you intend us to do? He says, it's simple. We kill the Batman. And then how do you intend to do that? And the Joker says, if you want to do something right, never do it for free. And the Italian man says, how much do you want? And the Joker says, well, half. And yeah, the other guy started laughing, like, half, really? And he says, and this guy's at Gamble here will not get a nickel to pay enough for his grandma. And Gamble says, enough from the clown! And the Joker and Gamble's men started to gather around the Joker and try to not detain him or try to shove him and knock him off or try to kill him. But the Joker says, he's got a grenade on his coat, and I thought men are not supposed to bring guns or tools or grenades and all that, but the Joker always likes to plan a step ahead in front of the mob bosses, including the henchmen and thugs. And he says, yeah. And he says, so why don't you guys think about this a little more seriously? Here's my card. Yeah, and he says, and he just holds the grenade while having the pin on having the pin with the ring on his thumb. Then he walks away and left until he gets a call, and then he wants to, he wants to own this town. If you want to know if he's going to own the town, he's not gonna do it for free. So yay. And so for that, so he has to find a way to get to Lau. And so Jim Gordon went into, before this happened, Jim Gordon went into the vault, and most of the money is gone, and they knew this was going to happen. Mr. Lau knew this ahead of time and had the money of Robert Maroney and the Italian man's money being kept safe in Mr. Lau's savings account with the thugs, because the money will be safe with Mr. Lau, but he thinks he's safe out of the neck and out of the woods and back into his homeland and home country, but not in Batman's grasp. So for that matter, yeah, and Harvey Dent and Jim Gordon have a heated argument about what's going on. They said, Jim Gordon says, they knew we were coming. And it says, my office, I told you to keep me on the loop. And it's like, easy there. My bosses like you are trying to hunt you down like a rock there, Dan, because they're going to put you more pressure than what Mr. Lau would have done. But Mr. Lau has caught us in the coup. Or, yeah, they got themselves in somewhat of a colder sack. Well, not trap, but most likely they'll never get Mr. Lau back. And yeah, and Harvey Dent says, you're a hard man to find. And now Harvey Dent says to Batman, he tells him, we need Lau back, or the Chinese won't extradite under national circumstances. And Batman says, Batman says, if I get him to you, will you get him to talk? Harvey Dent says, I'll get him to sing. And Jim Gordon says, Harvey, this is a really dangerous job. It's not as easy as it looks. And Harvey Dent says, I took this job when I became a DA. How will you? And Batman just disappears like ninja vanish, like ninpo. And Jim Gordon says, he does that. Of course he does. That's what he does. Same thing goes from Batman the Animated Series. Which is why he does ninpo. Vanishes without a trace. No footsteps, no sound, no nothing. He vanishes like silently. He knows how to disappear, and he can become truly invisible. So the only way to get Mr. Lau back is that Bruce Wayne is going to have to travel all the way to China. So yeah, he's going to go all the way to China with this specialized, like, it's kind of like a SWAT armor, only the armor is smaller. Kevlar plating, Kevlar titanium plating, separating the plates and armor makes him go faster, but it makes him vulnerable to knives and gunfire. But if he keeps the plates just right, it keeps him like in almost perfect balance of speed, maneuverability, and power. And yes, the armor protects him from Rottweilers and Chihuahuas and will do fine against cats. But no Catwoman in the second movie, but in the third movie it will, which is not creepy. Yay! So yay! Happy birthday or not? Which is kind of funny if you think about it. And look at that! It's snowing in the blimp. Glitches much? Yes. I don't know why, but it's a fun way to have a snow inside the blimp, so don't ask me why, and it's Coolsville. it's just the way it goes. Okay. So and for the for things that goes on, so Now that he's going to have a trip to Hong Kong, Bruce Wayne needs something to go in and out of the plane. So, Lucius Fox explained the story called something that happened back during the 60s. They called it Skyhook. So, Skyhook. I mean, he can go in and out of the plane without landing. So he has that idea. Now needs to come up with an alibi of South Korean smugglers, and the only way to do that is to light up a beacon like upper parachute, like goes up in the air, some type of rocket or some sort, and then he would be able to, how do I say this? What is the word I'm looking for? Land, or he'll stay up in the air, of course. There's some kind of hook, line, and sinker while riding on the plane, which is not a boat. So, yeah. And so Lucius Fox went to go visit with Mr. Lau, who is in Hong Kong right now. Since Lucius Fox is now in Hong Kong along with Bruce Wayne, who is actually taking pictures in Hong Kong, where he loves to go to the city of Hong Kong, the hometown of Bruce Lee, the famous martial artist. Only Bruce Lee would have been proud to see how Batman has become a skilled martial artist. That would make Bruce Lee a saint if he sees Batman, his kung fu fighting skills, and the way of the intercepting fist or foot, also known as Jeet Kune Do. And so he's taking the fanciful pictures, and then I noticed that Lucius Fox was not allowed to bring cell phones, so he put this one from where the main office from the entrance. So yes, and Lucius Fox had a talk with Mr. Lau, and Mr. Lau discussing about everything what's going on. And Mr. Lau says, I told you we don't no cell phones allowed. He says, I'm sorry, I forgot I had this with me. Forgive me, I'm really sorry. So now that he apologized, of course, and this and that. And now that we're going to get somewhere, and now, of course, you want to know about the things that'll go on sufficiently with Mr. Lau, and usually a phone call could have sufficed him, because whatever it is that you're doing, something that's illegal, which is very important. And yeah, I mean, Mr. Lau knows what Lucius Fox is talking about. He knows that Mr. Lau is doing something that's illegal right off the books. Because Bruce Wayne got a closer look at his books, because he was kind of sleeping, even though he knows everything about Mr. Lau's secret hidden agenda. Yes, his secret hidden agenda, if you don't mind asking. Because why? He's hiding something that is simply illegal for having to hire to get that many clients, saving up a lot of money with Robert Maroney and the Italian Man, along with the thugs, or those guys waiting back in Gotham to have their own little checking savings account so they can do whatever they want and take Gotham by force without being the contained of cops, even though cops will stop them anyways. But they want to have it their own way, because why? They want to blackmail the people, because unless you don't do what I say, I'll blackmail you and you will be a humiliation of the public. But no, Batman's not going to take the blackmail. He will stop whatever means necessary to stop these bad guys and put them in jail behind bars. So, oh my. So the only way he's gonna get something, so since Lucius Fox has the cell phone, he says, I got one. That is someone who already lost, so yeah. But the people who work with Mr. Lau with the Chinese security don't even realize that cell phone is a specialized sonar that disables electronics, like simply completely in a flash of a second. Everything will be shut off during the nighttime. And he says, like a submarine, Mr. Wayne, just like a submarine. And yeah, Bruce Wayne is going to play this pretty close to the chest. Very much indeed. He's going to play this pretty close to the chest. And Lucius Fox says, good luck. And he tells him that the main office is completely off limits and restricted. And guess what? He's right. So he's going up there now during the nighttime as Batman, because he has no jurisdiction in any international services of any whatsoever. Now he's in Hong Kong and China. He's going to capture Mr. Lau. Just like he tried to do with security guards. So the thing is, of course, all the electronics are being shut off. Everything on the entire building in the flick of a switch, because the cell phone is like a specialized sonar that neutralizes all the electronics. Of course, they have the backup power generator, but that's not going to help much. So he fires this gel launcher that contains with explosives in several spots of the location on the top of the skyscraper that he is on. From firing in the other skyscrapers, then it blows up with like how many minutes? So he's got like 7 to 5 minutes before things gonna go kablooey and explodes like Michael Bay movies, explosion like Michael Bay films. So yeah, and so he is able, and then you hear this dark theme music from the music of James Newton Howard and Hans Zimmer, and it's like, wow, the movie's getting really good. Every time you hear the music, it's like the dark music meme continues and rises. It gets like very dark. The music gets like, oh, this is good. Yeah. And then finally, Batman has finally got Mr. Lau, and you hear the music uproaring, like it's like, oh my gosh, like an intense battle just happened, and then it's like the sudden appearance of Batman has captured Mr. Lau, and then what's Batman gonna do with Mr. Lau? He's got like nowhere else to go, even though he can glide with Mr. Lau. There is only one thing left to do. Call upon the South Korean smugglers on a plane, and because why? He think of an alibi, and fires the hook, line, and sinker of the parachute up in the air, like maybe 200-300 feet or 500. Here comes the plane, and guess what? It hooked, line, and sinker, and goes out of the air. Batman flies up to the air with Mr. Lau holding up into his arms, climbing back onto the plane, and heading straight back to Gotham City. And I do believe we are going to stop here for the time being. And don't worry, we are going to continue to pick up from where we left off. And thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And tell me, what do you guys think of The Dark Knight, of the second movie of Christopher Nolan? And mash that like button if you guys love Arkham Twin Days. And please leave a comment section below. This is Leo Wolverine saying and speaking as always as your sensational special being who takes chances, makes mistakes, and get messy in Leo's Let's Plays Alliance. Godspeed, play safe, and shalom. See you guys next time for more of Arkham Twin Days.